Okay, so in the last class, we were at the end of the standard table of results. Okay, if you remember, and I was talking about this exponential function and the logarithmic function, right? So before we move further, I would like to just talk about the exponential and the uh, logarithmic function. Uh, and then we'll come on to the major part of calculus. Okay.
सर ये बैच 1 है।
बैच 1 है।
मेरा सुबह सुबह ना दिमाग नहीं चलता।
सर मेरी आवाज आ रही है? हेलो
ये क्या हुआ? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
यस सर।
सर आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ, अधिक आ रही है तेरी आवाज। ये
सर क्लियर आ रही है?
हाँ हाँ, क्लियर आ रही है अधिक।
सर ये कल प्रॉब्लम हुई थी बहुत ज्यादा, मेरी आवाज ही नहीं आ रही थी।
अच्छा, नहीं अभी क्लियर है।
ओके सर।
Okay. So I just want to talk about the very quickly. Um, I just want to talk about the exponential function and the logarithmic function, right? So the exponential and the logarithmic function. Okay, and we can have, I think, a graph of this. Exponential function. Okay. Search करो ये। हाँ, so which graph should I choose for you guys? I can choose any. This one. Yeah. So what is so special about this graph is that
slope of the graph is a function itself.
yes, very good. Yes, yes. So since dy by dx is equal to dx, right, this implies that slope is equal to the y coordinate. Okay, so what does this mean? It means that if I were to draw a tangent here, the y coordinate is around, the y coordinate is exactly 1, so this would be 45 degrees. The slope would be 45 degrees. And if I were to draw the slope here, the tangent here, then the slope would be equal to E, which would be equal to around 2.71. Okay? That is the value. So what I want to tell you really is that if we have y is equal to e raised to the power x, right? Then the input to the function and the output of the function, right? Remember that the input of a function is the independent variable, which in this case is x. I'll give you different values of x. And the output of the function is the value of y. You will tell me the value of y, right? So if the input is x is equal to 0, then of course the output is y is equal to 1, because anything raised to the power 0 is equal to 1. If the input is x is equal to 1, then y will be equal to e, right, which is roughly equal to 2.71. Because anything raised to the power 1 is the number itself. Okay. If x is equal to 2, then y is equal to e square, which would be around 2.71 square, which would be around 7, right? 7 point something. I'm not being really accurate. Okay. So now what I want is that is it possible that I have another function y is equal to some other function such that the input to that function is this. Input to that function is this. And the output of this function is this. So the output of that becomes the input of this, and the input of that becomes the output of this.
Sir, that ln of x.
बहुत बढ़िया, very good. Yes. So what we want is, that if we have an input x is equal to 1, then the output should be y is equal to 0. See what I have done? I have exchanged these two guys. Okay. पहले वाले केस में input was x equal to 0, the output was y is equal to 1. But now I want the input to be x equal to 1 and the output to be y is equal to 0. In the second case, I want the input to be x is equal to e, okay, and I want the output to be y is equal to 1. So I've exchanged these two values. And in the third case, I want the input to be around 7, and I want the output to be equal to 2. Right? If this is the case, if the inputs and the outputs are reversed, then we say that y is equal to f of x is the inverse function, of y is equal to e raised to the power x. Why is it the inverse? Because you have a function, you are giving it some input and you are taking some output. But now you construct another function such that the outputs of the first function become the inputs, and the outputs and the inputs of the first function become the output. Reverse ho gaya. Then that function is called the inverse of the original function, right? And I hope you'll realize that we can find the inverse of pretty much any function that you may think of, right? So what is this function, right? So in this case, as was pointed out, the inverse function is y is equal to ln x. Okay, and I want to show this to you. Let's see if I have that open. Yeah. So I hope everybody can see the calculator, right?
Yes, sir.
ये calculator
Yes,
सबके
sir.
पास
Yes, sir.
Google पे है calculator, so everyone. So you can see the LN button here, right? And you can see E here, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
if I just put E equal to this is 2.71 and so on, because it is an irrational number, therefore it is non-terminating. It goes for infinity, just like pi. Okay.
Sir, why do we use an irrational number to express those bigger numbers?
Oh, I don't. This is a very good question. We don't know. Nobody knows. Why? Why pi? Why e? I will give you a partial explanation when we study integration. I'll give you a partial explanation for this. But in reality, we don't know why pi is non-terminating. Okay? I mean, why that particular number? Why can't pi be 4.13 dot 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 dot? Why is it 3.14? We don't know. Okay, so let's figure this out. It's not very difficult. So e raised to the power 2. Okay, this is equal to around 7. Around 7. Let's see that if ln is inverse of that or not. So ln of 1, we are supposed to get 0. We get 0. Okay. ln of uh, uh, कितना था हमारे इसमें
7.389.
ln of e. So ln of e. So ln of e, we should get as 1, right? Because e raised to the power 1 was e. ln of e should be equal to 1. And ln of कितना बोला 7.89.
389, sir.
ln of around 7 is equal to 2, right? This is well within our approximation. So ln, natural log, is the inverse of e raised to the power x, right? Now you may ask the question, why is it called natural log? There is a very nice video of this on YouTube by three blue one brown, right? I will use many of his videos for you guys also. Three blue one brown. If you look, why is natural log called natural log? Very nice video. Okay. So now what we have discussed, right? Now we are getting on the main topic of calculus. So what we have discussed up till now is that if y is equal to x square, then yes, Adit, very good, yes. ln is the function we use to find the inverse of any graph. No, you are wrong. If y is equal to x square, then the inverse is y is equal to root of x. Okay. Why is this? ये इनपुट क्या होएगा यहाँ पे और आउटपुट क्या होएगा यहाँ पे इनपुट क्या होएगा और यहाँ पे आउटपुट क्या होएगा. Let's say that the input is 1, then the output is 1. If the input is 2, then the output is 4. If the input is 3, then the output is 9. 4, 16. Right? यहाँ पे input is 1, output is 1. Input is 4, output is 2. Input is 9, output is 3. Input is 16, output is 4. Do you agree with this, Aditya, what I have written here?
सर आपने जो वो स्क्वायर है ना उसका इनवर्स ले लिया, मतलब स्क्वायर का भी हाफ हो गया रूट।
नहीं, स्क्वायर का हाफ नहीं हुआ बेटा. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू शो यू is that if you have this function, then this is the inverse of this function. Why is it the inverse of this function? Because whatever set of inputs and outputs you have for this guy, the inputs and outputs for this guy are exactly reverse. So basically, the doubt was, and a uh, very natural and a very legitimate doubt. So Aditya was asking that whether this lnx is the inverse of any function. That is not true. Okay. So e power x का inverse ln x है, लेकिन x square का inverse root x है. उसी तरीके से किसी भी फंक्शन का इनवर्स कुछ और होता है. So I'm not making any generalized statements. अगर एक फंक्शन fx है उसका इनवर्स gx होगा. So I will write that down. For a function y is equal to fx, the inverse is y is equal to gx, such that input output table is reversed. That's it. आपने एक फंक्शन का इनपुट आउटपुट टेबल बनाया और आपने दूसरा फंक्शन बनाया, उसका उसका इनपुट आउटपुट टेबल बनाया, और आपने देखा कि पहले वाले का इनपुट आउटपुट टेबल और दूसरे वाले का इनपुट आउटपुट टेबल मिरर इमेजेस हैं ऑफ ईच अदर. राइट. दैट मीन्स कि पहले वाले का जो इनपुट है और आउटपुट है, दूसरे वाले में इट इज रिवर्स्ड. Then the other function you can call as the inverse of the first function. That's it. Nothing else.
Can you show the graph for us?
Huh?
Graph for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the best graphs that you can have. The slope of the graph is exactly equal to the y coordinate. So now the question arises, what is ln, right? So that is why I said right now, at this moment, we don't need to know what is ln. Okay? We only need to know that it is called the natural log, and we need to know that the dy by dx value, if y is equal to ln x, will be 1 upon x. So in maths, you are going to have a huge discussion on logarithmic functions, right? So your understanding will become way better than mine on the subject. And you can, for the time being, you can look at that video on YouTube where they explain what a natural log is.
Sir, could you please repeat the name of that video?
Three blue, one brown. बहुत famous है YouTube पे. It is very very famous. 3 blue, 1 brown. Okay? And he has a lot of other videos as well, but कुछ videos जो हैं थोड़ा higher mathematics के हैं. तो उसमें आप calculus का भी पूरा एक set of videos है. You can see that as well.
Sir, could you please show the last line you wrote?
हाँ, क्या देखना है?
Sir, last line आपने लिखी थी ना डब्बे में.
ये
Yes, sir, ठीक है.
हाँ यार तो okay. So now let's get to the heart of calculus. So I had written in the last class that if y is equal to x raised to the power n, then dy by dx is equal to nx raised to the power n minus 1. Right now, I hope that everybody agrees with this. Everybody agrees with this. This is what we derived. Well, we did not derive this particular thing, but we saw that this is the pattern that is being followed. We derived for x square, we derived for x cube, and that was enough to show that this is the pattern being followed, right? But if you see, then this is a very long way to write. This is a very long way to write. I don't want to write this long. I don't want to write if and then, especially. Right? So we are going to do this. We are going to do this. So let me just write here more notation. Okay, and whenever I write more notation, you should become very attentive, very careful, because this is really, when I say more notation, I really mean uh, I'm trying to teach you this new language, right? You, for us to have a future open line of communication where I'm saying something and you are understanding that, then that language should be understood. Okay. Okay. Please follow me very carefully. So basically what I want to do is I want to compress this sentence. Okay? I want to compress this sentence. So इसमें कुछ English है, कुछ maths है. Basically the sentence is saying that if you have a graph for which the equation is y is equal to x raised to the power n, then the slope of such a graph will be equal to n x raised to the power n minus 1. Okay. And if you want to find the slope at a particular point, let's say you want to find the slope at x equal to 1, so in the expression for dy by dx, you will put x equal to 1 and you will get the slope at x equal to 1. I just want to compress this huge sentence into something which is more, which I can handle in a better way. This is what I do. This is what I do. Number one, right? So same thing, but written differently. Okay. D by dx of x raised to the power n is equal to n x raised to the power n minus 1. I mean, you can't get easier than it. What have I done? Well, I was writing कि y is equal to इतना है and dy by dx equal to इतना है. तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने बोला अच्छा ठीक है, अगर y की वैल्यू x पावर n है ही, let me put it here. So this is read differently. So I'll write down what will you read it as. This is read as d by dx of x raised to the power n is equal to n x raised to the power n minus 1. This is how you'll read it. Okay. So this has another very powerful interpretation. Very powerful interpretation. So another way of looking at this is to compare under root to d by dx. Right. Now, what is under root? Under root is a mathematical operator. Okay. Let's first talk about under root, because you are so familiar with this, and maybe you have not ever thought about this in this manner, but you can. Right? I'm not. मैं कुछ अजब चीज नहीं बोल रहा. So this is the symbol of a mathematical operator. Okay, this is how I like to call it, mathematical operator. What do we mean by mathematical operator? What I mean is that mathematical operator acts on a mathematical on a it acts on something and gives you an answer. So this is a mathematical operator where the input is placed inside and some calculation is carried out to give the answer. Right. So under root of this is the input, okay, is equal to
Plus minus 2.
this is the output. So let's be absolutely clear about this. This is the input of the mathematical operator. This is the operator itself. And this is the output of the mathematical operator. Now, there has been a calculation. Right? आपको याद है ना 9th या 10th क्लास में या 7th I don't know. आपको अंडर रूट निकालना सिखाया गया होगा. सिखाया है ना? I hope अंडर रूट सिखाते हैं ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अंडर रूट
Yes, sir.
कैसे निकालेंगे, अंडर रूट 15 कैसे निकालेंगे. So there is some sort of mathematical operation going on in the background. The thing is that root 4 is so easy and so common that I don't need to carry out that mathematical operation in the background. I can simply write that, look, under root 4 का ये value है. Under root 16 का similarly I can just write plus minus
Plus
4.
minus 4.
Under root 13 अगर मुझे कोई बोलेगा तो I'll have to carry out some calculation, but the notation will remain the same. You will have this under root वाला symbol. उसके अंदर आप वो number 13 लिखोगे. Somewhere else you will carry out some calculation, and then you will write root 13 is equal to some number which you have got as a result of that calculation, right? ये आ रहा है ना सबको समझ में? This is okay for everyone, right? I hope.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If there is any confusion, please do ask. Okay. So if this is the way that a mathematical operator behaves, right, then I can already see the similarity. D by dx is a mathematical operator, okay, and it acts on something and it gives you an answer. So let's say that I write d by dx of x square. What will be the answer? So now I will say that, look, this whole thing, ये जो blue thing है, ये operator है. This is the operator. And this guy, only this guy within the brackets is the input. And then this guy is the output. Okay, please notice that when the root operator acts on the number, you get an answer. Then on the answer side, there is no root operator. You don't write like this. This is not what you do. Okay? So in the same way, when d by dx acts on this function, you get an answer. अब right hand side में d by dx या dy by dx है, इस particular case में लिखने की जरूरत नहीं. Okay. What about if I had to write root x? Then I cannot simplify this further, right? This is it. End of story. Root x cannot be simplified further.
6 e power 1 by 2.
But it is writing the thing in another way. You're not solving it. You're not further simplifying.
Okay, sir.
So cannot be further simplified. So in the same way, d by dx of y will be dy by dx cannot be further simplified. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that if the input is function of x, if you see an expression here, which is an algebraic function of x, then it is possible for you to get an answer. In the same way that if you see a number here, then it is possible for you to get an answer. But if you see another variable here, then you just write it as dy by dx. That's it. End of story. Just like यहाँ पे अगर root x है, तो आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो. उसी तरीके से यहाँ पे भी आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Cannot be simplified. So the way to think about this is that if y is equal to x square, okay, y is equal to x square, and I'm going to draw a parallel here, y is equal to 4, then what you can do is you can apply, because we have an equation, right? So you can do something on the LHS, you have to do the same thing on the RHS. So if you apply the operator d by dx on the LHS, and of course then you have to maintain the equation, you have to apply the operator d by dx on the RHS as well. For example, in this parallel scenario, if I say that I want to apply the root operator, then I cannot do it on one side only, I have to do it on both sides. Now, this equation, the LHS of this equation, d by dx of y, you cannot do anything here. So it becomes dy by dx. You just write it like this. The RHS of this equation, however, you can do something. You do know that this exists.
Sir, will it become dx squared by dx?
श्रेयस फिर कूदा ना, तो कूदना मत, पहले सुन ले मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, फिर मेरे को पूछना. d by dx of x square, we already know the answer, right? We already know what is d by dx of x square. So this will become 2. In the same way, in the parallel wala part, you will get root y. You can't do anything about it. Root y. That's it. That's how you write it. Is equal to, but this guy you can actually solve and write plus minus 2. हाँ श्रेयस, अब पूछिए क्या बोल रहे थे.
नहीं सर मैं पूछ रहा था कि d अपॉन dx स्क्वायर्ड बाय dx बनेगा क्या?
भाई तो यू टेल मी कि ये जो है ये 4 अंडर रूट बनेगा क्या?
No sir.
Can I write this as like this?
No sir.
How about this?
No sir.
How about this?
Yes sir.
सही है, सही लग रहा है ये.
नहीं सर, सिंबल थोड़ा गलत दिख रहा है.
हाँ
और सिंबल गलत है.
हाँ. Right. So in the same way, you cannot mix things up here. Right? I know that your instinct for algebra tells you that this can be manipulated. This can be manipulated in different ways, right? So you are thinking कि अच्छा d by dx of x square है, तो maybe you are thinking अच्छा x और x काट देते हैं, right? But this is not allowed. This is not algebra. This is calculus. Okay? So d by dx of x square is having an answer, and that is 2x. And where is this answer coming from? This answer is coming from here. This answer is coming from here. Okay? ये आया समझ में जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ श्रेयस?
Yes sir.
Whatever, and this goes for everyone, right? Your instincts for algebra will tell you something, but you have to stop and ask whether you are doing it correct or incorrect. Okay. In all probability, my advice would be that you are doing it incorrect. So it is better to stick to what I am teaching. Okay. अगर आप कहीं कुछ कैंसिल आउट कर रहे हो तो एक बार सोचना पड़ेगा कि आप कैंसिल आउट सही कर रहे हो. बेस्ट वे आई लाइक टू थिंक अबाउट इट इज जैसा मैंने बनाया है इन डिफरेंट कलर्स. सो डी बाई डी एक्स ऑफ something in brackets is one object. Okay, and within the brackets I have put something else in a different color, that is some other object, right? So like I have showed here, the quantity inside the brackets is the input, and the operator itself is more complicated than the root wala operator. Of course, root wala operator you can draw with a single stroke of your pen, but the d by dx wala operator you cannot draw with a single stroke of your pen. You have to have d upon dx and then bracket, right? So whatever your instincts for algebra tell you, please be careful. Okay. Okay, so this was the first way of compressing this statement, right? Second way of compressing the statement is that if f of x is equal to x square, then f dash x is equal to 2x. So this guy, this dash, let me do it like this. F dash x means the slope. There are different words for slope as well. Mathematicians like to use them. I will only be using slope. Sometimes I may use these other words, so I must tell you what these other words are. So other words for slope are derivative, differentiation, और क्या होता था, differential coefficient, right? Very big words, but the meaning is slope. So f dash x means the derivative of fx. F dash x means the differentiation of fx. F dash x means the differential coefficient of fx, right? All having the same meaning, that f dash x means the slope of fx. Okay. The third way that I can write this, y is equal to x square, y dash is equal to 2x, right? ये जो dash लगाने वाला है, this is just a convenience factor. So convenient. fx dash लगा दो, इसका मतलब मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ कि dy by dx की वैल्यू क्या होनी चाहिए, या अगर आपने y is equal to something लिखा हुआ है, y dash कर दो, right? Some people of course thought that ये dash लगाने में बड़ी मेहनत लग रही है, ये हमसे नहीं हो पाएगा, so they invented the dot notation. So y dot is equal to 2. This is the level of laziness to which we will go. हाँ बोलो भाई.
सर आप डॉट को थोड़ा डार्क कर देंगे, मुझे नहीं दिख रहा.
तो फायदा क्या हुआ फिर, मैं तो लेजी हो रहा, बट बोल रहा है तो मैं कर दे रहा हूँ.
सर बस डार्क. अच्छा ठीक है सर.
So this is the extent of laziness to which we will go Unfortunately, when we study physics, when we go into the textbook of physics that are written for us, then this dot notation is generally not followed. But if you do in the future study higher physics, then you will find that this not dot notation is very, very common. We are not going to use the dot, y dot. We are not going to be as lazy as these guys. We are going to be using dy by dx initially, and then finally, when you get used to it, we'll come to y dash or f dash x, and that's it. Yeah. So these are the four ways in which I compress the statement. Yeah, if y is raised to the, if y is equal to x raised to power n, then dy by dx is equal to nx raised to power n minus 1 is compressed in these four ways. Okay. First way, then the second way, these are the different words for slope. Third way, and the fourth. And please notice that I've stopped writing if and then. It does not make sense anymore. Okay. Okay. Now, could you tell me what is under root of minus 4?
Sir, it is imaginary number.
2i.
हाँ सबको मालूम है ना ये
तो
इमेजिनरी
उल्टा।
नंबर आ जाता है यहाँ पे
हाँ
है ना?
सर 2i होता है।
हाँ इमेजिनरी नंबर आ जाएगा
सर 2i कैसे हो गया?
तो वो आपको मैथ्स में पढ़ाएंगे, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. द पॉइंट दैट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज हाँ सत्यम सही है. द पॉइंट दैट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज दैट there is a way to handle this under root of minus 4. The first way to handle this, which you have all, is that this is undefined. Okay, तो क्लास 10th में अगर आप हैं या क्लास 9th में अगर आप हैं या क्लास 8th में, I don't know when this is introduced, but under root of negative numbers for a person for whom under root has just been introduced is undefined. Okay? You can't take root of negative numbers. Later on, of course, you come to the conclusion that you can take the under root of negative numbers, and when you do, you end up with something called imaginary numbers. Okay, you end up with something called imaginary numbers. Point that I am trying to make, irrespective of the fact कि आपको ये undefined समझ में आ रहा है या ये imaginary number समझ में आ रहा है, irrespective of that, point that I am trying to make is very, very simple. The point is that for different values of input, the rules of the game, they change, right? So there are certain rules that this operator must follow, right? So the first rule is, at least up till a certain level, the first rule is that you cannot take the negative, that you cannot take the square root of negative numbers. Okay. So we are also going to have rules for differentiation, right? Or rules for finding dy by dx. Rules for dy by dx. Okay. Or I can say the rules for the operator dy by dx. And this is what you need to learn. So the first rule you need to learn is that if you are finding the slope of a graph whose equation is k times fx, where k is a number, is a constant, right? Then this k does not take part in the process of differentiation, and you can simply kick it out. I'll give you an example. So the example is that if somebody asks me to find dy dx of uh, 3x square, right, then this will be equal to
6x.
3, okay, देखो 3 बाहर आ गया, d by dx of x square, right, which will be equal to 3 multiplied by 2x, right, which will be equal to 6x. Okay, okay, this is the way that you'll handle numbers multiplied. Please notice that these numbers must be multiplied to the function. The second rule is that if you are going to find the slope of this sum of two different functions, then this is exactly equal to the slope of the first function plus the slope of the second function.
So distributive,
हाँ
distributive law.
हाँ हाँ नाम नहीं, I don't want to name it, but if you want to, कोई problem नहीं. So for example, if I get d by dx of x square plus x cube, right? If I get d by dx of x square plus x cube, then this will be equal to d by dx of something plus d by dx of something else. And here we will get x square, here we will get x cube. And we know that the answer to this is 2x, and we know that the answer to this is 3x square. Right? So if you have two functions which are subtracted or added to each other, then you can find their slopes separately and then add them or subtract them depending on what is given here. Right? So I can write here plus minus plus minus. ये आया सबको समझ में? Is this understood by all? Anybody having doubts in this? Question number 1. Please do this in your copies. Find dy by dx if a y is equal to root x, b y is equal to 3 x raised to the power 1 by 3 plus 1 by 2 root x. C y is equal to 3 sine 2x plus 5. D D nature. हाँ तीनों करो अर्नव ऋत्विक, do all three. नहीं ऋतिक, B में if you see ना, there are two things, right? There are two terms, so the answer should also contain two terms. हाँ बिल्कुल सही, बिल्कुल सही। हाँ बिल्कुल सही है श्रेयस। हाँ वो समझ गया था मैं अपना क्या हो रहा था। वेरी गुड, यस इट्स वेरी गुड। यस व्योम, एब्सोल्युटली राइट। सद्गुण एक बार चेक करना, मेरे को थोड़ा गड़बड़ लग रहा है।
ओके।
डी वाला गड़बड़ लग रहा है, सी वाला भी गड़बड़ लग रहा है। Shehran is absolutely right. Vatsal, absolutely right. Ritvik is wrong. We can't have an answer which is or, भैया. We are doing maths. 3 plus 5 is equal to 8 or 9. ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है. हाँ, I will explain, Arifan. I will explain all the questions. Don't worry. अच्छा, you are asking. अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा. नहीं, दोनों गलत. पहला वाला almost correct है, but you have made a silly mistake.
सर 2 रूट एक्स का मतलब रूट ही होगा क्या, कि 2 इंटू रूट ऑफ एक्स हो जाएगा?
क्या?
सर 2 रूट एक्स मीन्स 2 इंटू रूट ऑफ एक्स है ना?
रूट एक्स मैंने कहाँ लिखा है? अच्छा, 1/2 रूट एक्स ना, हाँ, 1/2
यस सर,
इंटू 1/रूट एक्स मल्टीप्लायर है मेरे
यस।
भाई। हाँ मानसी, यस करेक्ट आंसर। देख, तेरे को तो मालूम ही है क्या आंसर होएगा। ये किसने डाला? श्रीहरन, बिल्कुल सही बता, वेरी नाइस, यस आदित्य गुड। हर्षवर्धन, सेकेंड टर्म को चेक करो, फर्स्ट टर्म बिल्कुल सही है, सेकेंड टर्म को चेक करो। आदित्य, check the first term. Look, there is already a 3 there, na? So when the power comes down, then something will get cancelled out. Harshvardhan, very nice. Yes.
सर आपको मेरे चार्ट दिख रहे हैं ना?
माइनस लिखना चाहिए ना हर्षवर्धन वहां पे। क्या क्या बोला देख?
सर मैं बस बोल रहा हूँ आपको दिख रहा है ना मेरा चार्ट?
हाँ हाँ, दिख रहा है, दिख रहा है तेरा
ठीक
आंसर।
है।
हाँ, अब सही आया ना पार्थ का। Nana is absolutely right. Aditya, silly mistake. Please correct it. Vyom is now absolutely right. हाँ, कोई बात नहीं अफसर, वो तो मैं समझ गया, टाइपो तो समझना ही। ऐश्वर्या is absolutely right. Arnav is absolutely right. Very good. Very good. बाकी लोग? अद्वैत, अंजलि, आरंभ। स्वागत, ये क्या आंसर लिखा है? ओके, ignored. Harshvardhan is absolutely right. Vyom is absolutely right. अंजलि, आरंभ, कल्याणी, मनस्वी को तो सब आता होगा ये तो। ऐसा, उमर उमर, अनुष को आता है, पार्थ को आता है, पीयूषा, ने क्या लिखा? नहीं मानसी, सेकंड वाला टर्म गलत है, फर्स्ट वाला सही है, सेकंड वाला इनफैक्ट फर्स्ट वाला भी थोड़ा गलत है ना, प्लस माइनस साइन की गड़बड़ी है, देखो।
सर मैंने सेकंड का आंसर भेज दिया।
श्रेयस एक एक करके देखूंगा ना मैं, सबको तो बार बार भेज रहा है क्या?
सर आपने बोला था पहले गलत है तो फिर वापस भेजें।
फिर से गलत है तेरा। एक्स रेस टू द पावर 1/3 थोड़ी ना आएगा, -1 करेगा तो कितना आएगा? श्रेयस बिल्कुल
यस
सही
सर,
है,
-2 है।
श्रेयस का बिल्कुल सही है। श्रेयस सेकंड टर्म देखना, तेरा गड़बड़।
यस सर, चेक।
पार्थ का बिल्कुल सही है। नहीं, पार्थ सी वाला तेरा गलत है, देख। वेंकटेश का बिल्कुल सही है। नहीं, हाँ सही है। वेंकटेश तूने लिखा बहुत खराब है यार ये, बिकॉज 1/2 सेपरेट होना चाहिए ना, मतलब 1/2 शुड बी। Naisa, this is what I'm. So you are telling me the question. I want the answer. What you have written is the question. This is what I'm asking you. I want the answer. किसका, शवनी ने किसका लिखा? 3/2 कहाँ से ले आई है शवनी? 1/3 -1 कितना होता है? हाँ सदगुण, अब तूने सही किया ना फाइनली। इतना टाइम लग रहा है।
सॉरी।
आदित्य सी वाला आंसर तो कुछ गड़बड़ लग रहा है, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा। डी वाला आदित्य सेकंड सेकंड आंसर देखना, गलत है थोड़ा। तो फर्स्ट पार्ट में थोड़ा गड़बड़ लग रहा है। नहीं, फर्स्ट पार्ट सही है, सेकंड वाला देख रहा। स्मिथ बिल्कुल सही। ओ श्रीराम, क्या क्या ले आया भाई? 7/6 कहाँ से आ गया ना? फिर से करो। Remember that 3 is the multiplier and the power is 1/3. Okay. Ishwarya is absolutely correct. Harshvardhan is absolutely correct. First one answer is in negative. नहीं बचा, फिर negative में क्यों? Why should it be negative? उमार कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं। हाँ सत्यम सही है, बिल्कुल सही है। Oh, Aram coming in with first absolutely right, third absolutely right, second में गड़बड़ है थोड़ा। कल्याणी का एक्सीलेंट एक्सीलेंट, कल्याणी वेरी नाइस। थर्ड वाला देखो ना कल्याणी, थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ है। हाँ अद्विक मैं सब तीनों में सॉल्व करूंगा। यस, रुक जा 1 मिनट। उमार उमार अरे ओम नहीं बे, मैं उमार की बात कर रहा हूँ।
Should I just write the answer?
जस्ट राइट इट और से इट, क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? क्या करें ऑनलाइन क्लास में, और क्या हो सकता है? हाँ मैं स्ट्रेस में कर रहा हूँ। चलो गाइस, देखो 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 देखो, टाइम इज अप। If you have not written the answer, compare it with what I get and tell me whether you are correct or incorrect. That's also acceptable. Please see. y is equal to root x का मतलब ये हुआ y is equal to x raised to the power half, and then I will apply this on both sides. So the left side simply becomes dy by dx. This is what I have been tasked to find. Now this will become what? Well, I know that d by dx of x power n is equal to n x n power minus 1. So this should be easy. I think all of you have done this. Half x half minus 1, which is equal to half x minus half, which you can write as
1 by 2 root x.
yeah. हाँ, very good वरुण, बहुत बढ़िया. Second वाला देखो वरुण. So in the second wala, y is equal to 3x raised to the power 1 by 3 plus 1 by 2 root x. Okay, please follow me very efficiently. Please pay attention to what I'm doing. So I apply d by dx on the LHS and d by dx on the RHS. The LHS, I end up with dy by dx. On the RHS, I have this plus sign. So this will become d by dx of 3x raised to the power 1 by 3 plus d by dx of 1 by 2 root x. Right? This is using the rule number 2. Right? Because rule number 2 is that if you have d by dx of the sum of two functions, then you can find the d by dx of the individual functions and add that separately. Okay, now I'm going to write this as 3 into d by dx of x raised to power 1 by 3 plus 1 by 2 into d by dx of 1 by root x. This is using rule number 1. What is rule number 1? अगर कोई हमारे पास जो फंक्शन है डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए उससे मल्टीप्लाइड कोई नंबर है तो ये नंबर जो है बाहर आ जाता है. That does not take part in the process of differentiation. So I just want to write this in a better way. 3 d by dx of x raised to, ये तो लिखा हुआ अच्छे से, plus 1 by 2 d by dx of x raised to the power minus half. Right? I want to write it like this. And now I simply apply the formula d by dx of x raised to the power n is equal to n x n minus 1. So this will become 1 by 3 into x raised to the power 1 by 3 minus 1 plus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 x raised to the power minus 1 by 2 minus 1, right? So a lot of minuses in the second expression. 3 और 3 cancel हो जाएगा यहाँ पे. So I'll get x raised to the power minus 2 by 3 plus, sorry, not plus. I don't need to write plus, minus 1 by 4 x raised to the power minus 3 by 2. क्या आया सबको समझ में?
सर ये इधर रुक जाएगा,
Yes,
और नहीं
sir.
हो सकता
हाँ,
सर, ये और सिंप्लीफाई नहीं हो सकता फर्दर?
नहीं सुनाई दिया तो फिर बोल.
सर ये
Sir,
फर्दर और सिंप्लीफाई नहीं हो सकता?
नहीं, मतलब करने को आप कर सकते हो, बट ठीक है, यहाँ तक आई एम वेरी हैप्पी.
ओके सर.
Okay. Then the third one, y is equal to 3 sine 2x plus 5, right? So d by dx, and then I use rule number 1. So this is simply dy by dx. This becomes 3 into d by dx of sine of 2x plus 5. Okay, and I go back, and I look at the table. ये रहा sine ax plus b का dy by dx is a cosine ax plus b, right? Come back. This should be equal to 3 multiplied by 2 cosine 2x plus 5, which is equal to 6 cosine 2x plus 5. It's clear to everyone? Anybody getting left behind? Anybody having any
No,
source?
sir, clear.
सर वो ऊपर वाला पार्ट एक बार दिखाओ
कौन सा वाला?
सर वो साइन और कॉस वाला पार्ट जहाँ पे वो टेबल थी
वो तो पिछले लेक्चर का है। तूने
ठीक है सर
ओके, चलो do some more. D. So I'm continuing with this question. Okay, I'm continuing with this question. So question 1, D. Y is equal to 7 sec 5x plus 3 plus e raised to the power 2 e raised to the power 3x plus 2. ये वाला करिए सब लोग. This should be easy now. Look at the table. Solve. हाँ बोल देना ना, सुन रहा हूँ.
Also, I got 30.
सुनाई नहीं दिया. बता.
सर ये थोड़ा बड़ा आ रहा है, मैं टाइप नहीं कर पाऊंगा।
हाँ मैं लिख दे रहा हूँ. Okay, compare your answer.
सर वो e का जो 3x में +2 वाला 3 क्यों नीचे आया?
क्योंकि क्लास में ध्यान दिया जाता है इसलिए। ओह, मैंने लिखा नहीं था क्या, सॉरी।
हाँ yes.
y is equal to e raised to power ax plus b, sorry, let me ये तो मैं भेज चुका हूँ ना, let me write it here. So please add this to wherever you have written the.
Okay.
सर आप एक बार रीड कर सकते हैं आपने क्या लिखा है?
हाँ
सर आप एक बार रीड कर सकते हैं आपने क्या लिखा है?
हाँ, dy dx of e raised to the power ax plus b is equal to a multiplied by e raised to the power ax plus b. वो याद है ना आदमी को, sin ax plus b और cosine ax plus b में वो a बाहर आ जाता है, मतलब a
Yes,
बाहर
sir.
इन द सेंस कि a मल्टीप्लाई b हो जाता है। तो वही
Yes, sir.
वही चीज यहाँ पे भी होती है। So dy dx of e raised to the power ax plus b is a times e raised to the power ax plus b, and dy dx of ln of ax plus b is equal to a upon ax plus b.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
उमर क्या बोल रहा है? उमर
Sir, can you scroll up? I want to answer.
स्क्रॉल अप बोल रहा है ना, यही बोल रहा है ना?
Yes, sir.
कोई बात नहीं अर्नव, डोंट वरी। हाँ श्रीहरन, now so this was my mistake, not yours, don't worry about it. And Ritvik has got it right, Sadgun has got it wrong, 35 की जगह 15 क्यों लिखा है मुझे
हाँ सर वो गलती से 3 की जगह 1 लिख दिया।
हाँ वो समझ आ रहा, टाइपो है वो obviously.
60%.
Sir is absolutely right. Sadgun अपना सेकंड वाला टर्म सही कर लें।
Yes.
सर
हाँ
सर
सर
रूल
ये
दिखा
जो
सकते हैं?
हाँ बोलो बोलो।
सर ये जो सेकेंड लाइन में आपने लिखा है 7 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 5 सेक 5x प्लस 3, तो ये
हाँ
5 कहाँ से आया सर?
ये आया यहाँ से। आया समझ में?
हाँ सर।
सर आप वो रूल दिखा सकते हैं आपने अभी भी लिखा?
यस
हाँ
सर वो रूल जो आपने अभी भी लिखा है वो दिखा सकते हैं एक बार, लास्ट लाइन?
रूट जो लिखा है क्या बोल रहा है ये?
सर रूल रूल लास्ट, हाँ ये
ओह, चलो, so I will stop here and next क्लास में कोई एब्सेंट नहीं होना चाहिए because next class is very important. इसी वीक में तो है ना नेक्स्ट क्लास का, कल है?
हाँ सर
हाँ
शायद।
सर कल ही।
यस सर।
कोई गायब मत होना भैया।
सर परसों
एंड
शायद।
सर हेलो,
परसों है?
हेलो सर।
कल कोई
हाँ
क्लास?
हाँ हाँ,
तो कल कोई क्लास नहीं।
अरे ठीक है भाई, जब भी नेक्स्ट क्लास है प्लीज डोंट मिस इट, ओके, दैट्स व्हाट आई।
सर
यस सर, थैंक यू
जो
सर।
लोग जो
सर
लोग
ये वाला जो रूल है जो ई रेस्ट पावर एक्सप्रेशन, ये सिर्फ ई के लिए एप्लीकेबल है कि कुछ भी आ जाए ई की जगह पे?
नहीं नहीं, केवल ई के लिए, केवल ई।
ओके सर, ओके सर।
जो लोग पहले कर चुके हैं उनके लिए नहीं नेसेसरी है, बट दोज हु आर डूइंग दिस फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अटेंड द नेक्स्ट क्लास, ओके।
सर एक बार आंसर दिखा दो सर,
क्या
ये डी वाले का आंसर दिखा नहीं क्या?
क्या चीज?
अभी आपने जो क्वेश्चन दिया उसका आंसर एक बार दिखा। ओके थैंक यू सर।
अभी भेज रहा हूँ मैं उसको, अभी भेज दे रहा हूँ, ग्रुप पे डाल दूँ।
सर अब नेक्स्ट क्लास में वो बाकी दो कराएंगे ना?
हाँ हाँ, बाकी 3 रूल,
तीनों सर ठीक।
तीनों हो जाएगा ना अगली क्लास में तो। चलो ओके गाइस, फिर आई विल सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास, ओके। आई एम जस्ट शेयरिंग, अभी मैं
थैंक
शेयर।
यू सर।
थैंक यू सर, बाय सर।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू
थैंक
सर।
यू सर, बाय सर।
थैंक यू सर, बाय।
थैंक यू
थैंक
सर।
यू सर।
सर
बाय। आप लोग और क्लास करो।